Toxoplasmosis by Alan Aru. There are many things a society lives on without thinking about. We have so many organisms living among us and sometimes in us, and we do not even know it. For example, a parasite. Dr. Rama Jager is a retinal surgeon, and he briefly explains what a parasite does.
The parasite actually can settle into lots of different tissues within the body. They have a predilection for the brain and for the central nervous system.
One of the most successful parasites known to man is Toxoplasma gondii. Toxoplasma was first discovered in 1908. It was recorded to be part of the phylum Apicoplexa. In the 1920s, this parasite was recognized to be a human pathogen, and the first human infection was in 1923. As scientists experimented, a diagnostic test was finally developed after 40 years of being discovered in the late 60s. The feline was found to be the definitive host, and the parasite's sexual cycle could finally be described. Ongoing research was told that toxoplasmosis is one of the most disseminated protozoal infections worldwide. It has been described in 200 different species of vertebrates, and since then it has been made the model for apicomplexan parasites.
The parasite travels through the human body in the blood. When it reaches the tissues, it bursts out and attacks the surrounding cells. When the body's white blood cells attack the parasite, the surrounding tissues become inflamed. If the parasite gets into the eye, this inflammatory response damages the retina, causing blindness.
The way that toxoplasmosis invades a cell is through a parasite protein secretion. The invasion is accompanied by a discharge of 3 sets of secretory organelles in the following order: micronemes, rhabdries, and dense granules. Micronemes are discharged first on cell contact, and they contain a family of proteins with adhesive domains. Rhabdries are club-shaped organelles that form a duct-like structure that connect the apical end of the parasite, and dense granules contain proteins that modify the cell. Although they are not understood completely, it is understood that they may contribute to nutrient uptake.
One of the reasons that Toxoplasma is so successful as a parasite is that once it's inside the body, it's almost impossible to destroy. When the Toxoplasma parasite gets attacked by the immune system or by drugs, it forms a cyst that is almost indestructible. The immune system can keep this parasite at bay, but it can't kill it. Once a human gets the Toxoplasma parasite, they will have it for the rest of their life.
Toxoplasma gondii is a protozoan that has a heterogeneous life cycle and is able to infect various mammal and bird species through a different transmission pathway, though felines are the definitive hosts. Heterogeneous means that it has more than one host in its entire life cycle. The development phases occur through oocysts. They occur through the ingestion of oocysts that are shed in the feces from infected cats, or ingestion of tissue cysts contained within undercooked meat. In these development phases, tachocytes are responsible for dissemination throughout the host. Sporocytes are within the oocysts, and bradiocytes are located within tissue cysts. Sporozoites and bradiozoites emerge and penetrate the epithelial cells of the small intestine of the primarily infected.
Toxoplasmosis primarily infects cats and rodents. The parasite breeds in the small intestine of an infected cat, where it produces millions of spores. These spores are excreted in the cat's feces. When rodents eat contaminated feces, they too become infected. When a cat eats an infected rodent, the parasite's life cycle is complete. But if a human eats the infected feces, then they can become infected.
Humans become infected postnatally by ingestion tissue cysts from undercooked meat, consuming food or drink contaminated with oocysts, or by accidentally ingesting oocysts from the environment. Waste from an uninfected cat are also a cause. Eating contaminated meat that is raw and uncooked, for example, like pig, cow, chicken, or goat. Drinking infected water, say from a river, or it being the only water source available to the public, could also be a cause. Also, receiving an infected organ transplant or blood transfusion can be a cause.
The human immune system is very good at controlling the Toxoplasma parasite. In some parts of the world, 80% of the human population have this parasite and don't even know it. But if the human immune system is compromised, this parasite can reawaken, and then there can be very serious consequences.
In humans, only 10% of infections appear to be symptomatic, and the disease has various manifestations depending on individual health status during the infection, whether it was pre or post-born. Symptoms when contracted are acute fever disease, rash, myalgia, headache, frustration, and pneumonia. Hepatic and myocardial impairment are rare cases. Encephalitis and immunodepressed patients are also symptoms. In newborns, infection and abortion and malformations can be caused. It can lead to blindness in some cases. The humans are one of the several possible immediate hosts, and it affects both genders. It can be found all over the world in a vast range of countries. There is no cure for toxoplasmosis itself, but if toxoplasmosis sparks another disease, for example taking over a person's retina, there is an injection for that. Most people don't need treatment, but there are drugs for pregnant women and people with weak immune systems.
Toxoplasma infects as many as 1/3 of the entire human population. But the parasite's primary host isn't humans, but cats. One of the best ways to avoid infection is to always wash your hands after cleaning your cat's litter box.
Necessary only in pregnant women, in children with severe symptoms, in people with an immune system deficiency, and in cases of retinitis or choroiditis. There are 2 drugs that can treat the infected. They are pyrimethamine and sulfonamide drugs. In order to avoid contracting, wash hands after handling a litter box. Dr. Robert Yolkin, a professor of pediatrics at Johns Hopkins Children's Center, is researching with other researchers Toxoplasma gondii based on the idea that the parasite invades the human brain and may be the cause of schizophrenia in some people.
In some cases, the Toxoplasma parasite can do very serious damage to its hosts, but most of the time the immune system can keep it at bay. It can't be killed, but it is possible to live with it.
Toxoplasma gondii is not a parasite that puts people into worry. There are rare cases in which they actually cause serious effect to one's health and life. It didn't stop good old Tom from chasing Jerry. Tom was always chasing Jerry, but little did he know that if he ever caught Jerry and ate him, he would keep the life cycle of a parasite that was within Jerry living to go on furthermore. I can has toxoplasmosis, you ask? Yes. Yes, you can has it.